EPA receives from Congress about $1.3 to $1.4 billion per year for the Superfund program. That funds every aspect of the program, including the salaries of the folks you see here and everything all the way up to the digging when we have to dig ourselves. However, it is the principle of the Superfund program that responsible parties will be looked to in the first instance to carry out the work. And indeed, about 70% of all Superfund cleanups are carried out by what we call the potentially responsible parties, the PRPs. Virtually all of that is done, or the majority of that is done in the PRPs voluntarily stepping forward and saying, we will sign an enforceable instrument of some sort. There's two different flavors or species of enforceable instrument. One is called an administrative order. The other is called a judicial consent decree. If they execute that enforceable obligation, they can carry out the work. If they fail to, or they decline to voluntarily sign such an instrument, we have the legal authority to impose the obligation on them through an administrative order, and the penalties for failure to comply with such an administrative order are incredibly steep. And so the number of entities who, A, don't settle but instead choose to receive such an order, and B, don't comply with the order once it's issued to them is very, very small. So the real question, in order to decide whether or not you're going to have enough money to clean up a given Superfund site, is whether, the first question is, are there responsible parties who have the financial and technical wherewithal and capability to do the work? Because if the answer to that question is yes, it is usually the case that they will. Not always. And then, if not, if any of these steps that I've outlined for you do not, if they all fail to result in an undertaking by the responsible parties to carry out the work under our supervision, then at that point we would look to the budget that we get every year and say, now we need to use federal Superfund money to carry out the cleanup. Now, we have said publicly that we don't know what the cleanup here in the Gowanus Canal would cost, but we have estimated it's in the order of magnitude of $350 to $450 million, maybe a little bit more, but probably not much less. And so the question is a fair one. Well, what kind of money, what kind of sites is the Superfund able to clean up? And the answer is that right now in this region, we've probably got a half a dozen sites that either have already been cleaned up or are underway of cleaning up that cost $300 million or more with federal funding, not with responsible party funding. Our region receives the largest single fraction of that $1.4 billion or $1.3 billion of all the 10 EPA regions. That's not because we're so much better, it's just because we have more sites and they are further down the pathway towards getting cleaned up. But we have, in the 20 years since the Superfund program, or 19 years since the Superfund program has been in existence, our region has brought in over $4 billion worth of cleanup between funding and PRP funding.